Sup Sunshines, Ori got the mic. From the very beginning of my gaming journey, I always loved stealth games. And recently I thought to myself, how come I love these kind of games but never actually played in the most iconic of this genre? It's Thief. So today we're going to hide in the dark, steal possessions, and discover mysteries of godforsaken city. In the opening scene, our protagonist, Garrett, is pondering about society he lives in, the fact that everything has its price and blah blah blah. Though he's not very social after all, he's the thief and now he steals some stuff from a sleeping man and leaves untraceably. In the next house, while he's taking a pretty necklace out of the safe, someone extremely loudly runs on the roof. Garrett climbs to see who is so noisy. Turns out it's Erin, the other thief and some kind of a friend to the protagonist. She and Garrett have something to do together tonight, and right now they are going to the place. Soon enough, Erin leaves Garrett cause she has a claw which helps her climb on tall walls, and Garrett doesn't have one, so he goes standard route. After robbing a couple of houses, Garrett meets Erin. She's reading a letter in which they're stated where to find what they're looking for. It's Primal Stone, and it's located in Baron's mansion. Baron is some sort of mayor in this city, and suddenly we appear in the backyard of this mansion. Erin doesn't miss a chance to flex with her cool modern self-made claw, and Garrett has to go alone through the guards. When they meet again, Garrett steals the claw out of Erin. Not because he's jealous, but because he thinks that this thing only causes problems to Erin. Here comes the cutscene where we see some crazy ritual involving the mentioned Primal Stone. Seeing all of this, Garrett tells Erin that they're leaving, cause it's too dangerous and Erin isn't ready for this. Erin gets pissed and tells Garrett that she's going down anyways. In response, Garrett shows her the stolen claw and tells she can't go without this thing, and they start fighting. Meanwhile, the ritual beneath gets stronger and stronger with every moment, that even the building starts shaking. In a fight, Erin knocks the claw out of Garrett's hand and it lands on a big ceiling window right above the ritual. Erin tries to take it and eventually she appears in the middle of the window. The glass breaks underneath her due to shaking because of the ritual. Garrett tracks in timing and catches Erin, but his strength is not enough and Erin falls down in the center of the ritual and it absorbs her, as well as it causes whole building to collapse, leave Garrett in questionable state. Garrett wakes up in some carriage not knowing what's going on. Here and there he hears people talking about strange disease called gloom. Sees people getting hanged, witnesses guards' tyranny. When one of the guards approaches the carriage, the carrier pushes him out and they started to run away, but one gets killed and the other escapes. Garrett takes some time and leaves the carriage. Here he figures out that now he can concentrate to see good loot and hidden traps, so something has happened to him while he was gone. Though now Garrett has to get to his hideout to get some rest and make his thoughts about whole situation. His hideout is located in Big Clock Tower. To get there, he needs to cross the street with jewelry shop, and Garrett eavesdrops guards' conversation about expensive masks in there. So, stolen? In the clock tower, Garrett sees a big layer of dust and a pile of matchboxes with messages written on them. It got delivered by Basso's pet bird, and this Basso wants to see Garrett as soon as possible, so now we have to go to check on him. Crossing the street, Garrett steals some stuff and comes to meet Basso. He seems upset and gets angry on Garrett because Garrett, as Basso says, has been absent for a whole year. Protagonist doesn't remember anything about his absence. For him it's been just a moment from building crash to the carriage. Anyways, Basso gives Garrett a job: steal the ring out of recently deceased man. His body will be in some kind of foundry, where Baron's guards examine all the bodies on gloom symptoms to prevent spread of the disease. But firstly, Garrett has to find out more about himself, so he goes in the old chapel to see Queen of Beggars, who is known for her knowledge of everything that's going on in the city. She tells Garrett her story. A year ago, right after the ritual, her beggars found Garrett unconscious. They thought he was dead, but he was alive, so they moved him out of the city and healed him. When gloom started spreading, something began to wake Garrett up, so beggars decided to get him back in the city. And here we are. At the entrance in the foundry, Garrett sees some sort of vision, in which Erin is calling him for help, and right after he finds a strange puppy, which is used to restore focus energy. Inside the foundry, Garrett takes a ride on a hook, then another one, and then Garrett sees the goal. The body is laying on a table and being examined by guards. Suddenly, well-dressed man steps in a room and approaches the body. It's General Thieftaker. Seems like he's here for the same reason as Garrett. And yes, he uses one of the guard's hand to get the ring out of man's stomach, and then kills this guard. Well, at least that's less dirty work for Garrett. Protagonist sneaks through remaining guards, solves a puzzle, and hears the required ring, as well as new short vision. But in bad timing, General Thieftaker opens the door and sees Garrett still in the ring. Garrett reacts fast enough, knocks General away, and barricades him behind the door. Now it's time to escape and Garrett manages to leave quickly. 5 nights later, while Garrett is making a fire with wanted portraits of him, Basso's bird brings him a new message. Seems like Basso has another job to offer. When we meet Basso, it's not his usual place. He is leading Garrett to some man named Orion. He seems welcoming and kind, cause as Garrett sees, he is helping people in need. But throughout the dialogue, Garrett starts hearing Aaron again and suddenly passes out. After waking up, Garrett asks what Orion needs. Turns out he requires a book, the only one that exists, as Orion says. At first, Garrett doesn't want to help, cause it's about politics and stuff, but after all good words Orion said, Garrett agrees. And this book is hidden somewhere in House of Blossoms, some kind of local brothel. Garrett has never been there, but he remembers that Aaron has, so he's headed to her hideout now to see if there could be any helpful information. When Garrett steps inside Aaron's hideout, the vision kicks in. There he sees Aaron alive and healthy. She tells Garrett to follow her. She speaks in riddles, makes Garrett to play hot and cold, and when he finds the picture of him, Vision stops and Aaron disappears. In the reality, there is the same portrait on the wall, and in the eye, there's a button. It opens a secret safe where a strange medallion lays. Why does she have such a strange thing? Anyways, it must be connected to the House of Blossoms somehow, so now Garrett is headed there. In the brothel, Garrett sneaks through the guards, and in the hole of the wall, he sees General Thieftaker talking to Zhao Zhao, chief of the brothel. From the dialogue, Garrett sees that General will stay at here tonight. Then, in Zhao Zhao's office, Garrett finds a letter about secret passage under the House of Blossoms. And here it is, right behind the painting. Secret passage looks more like cult church sewers, with holes in walls to spy on visitors of brothel. And inside these rooms, there are carved signs that symbolizes each part of medallion that Aaron had. Knowing all these signs helps Garrett to align the symbols on the medallion and he puts it on the pedestal. It opens another secret door, that time to the ancient ruins. It's an old library and we need to find the book. I honestly wish Garrett could just ask the receptionist, if there was one. Anyways, now it's time for a puzzle with rotating stairs. 1 and 2. Oh, here's the receptionist. I guess he's not very social today. After solving puzzle, Garrett finally finds the book he's looking for. Another part with symbol aligning, and the book is obtained. Vision of that strange ritual goes in a pair with it. Now it's time to leave. Guards are here though, and they are looking for Garrett. He manages to escape unseen anyways, but he gets out of the sewers exactly under the bed where General Thieftaker having fun. General is going a little bit too hard on a girl, cause even room gets set aflame and Zhao Zhao comes to protect the girl from the General. While Zhao Zhao threatens General, he pushes the girl and she sees Garrett. Thieftaker is going to kill Garrett, but he locks General in the room again and now it's time to run, while General tells himself that Garrett will regret this. 7 nights later, Garrett spends time in his hideout when suddenly he hears a bird. It's Basso's pet bird, wounded. It dies on Garrett's hands, so he knows something went wrong with Basso. In Basso's place, Garrett finds Orion searching for the book protagonist has stolen for him. Orion says that Basso has been taken by General Thieftaker. Garrett confronts him about the book, cause how come his friend is kidnapped because of several stupid pages? Orion replies that this book is going to cure the city as well as Gloom, and now Baron obtains it. But Basso is not an idiot. He has hidden the book behind the painting, and Garrett shows it to Orion, and asks where they've dragged Basso. Orion answers, Basso's in Baron's tower in prison now, and also Orion says who can help to get there. Then he takes Garrett's portrait and tells that they are not so different after all, and leaves with the book. Right now, Garrett cannot find Ryan's informant due to panic on the street in this district, but he knows another place where he can obtain the information. Baron's architect's house. It's nearby. Approaching it, Garrett sees the explosion in Baron's tower. For real, what's going on with this city? Anyways, in the house of architect, there are a shit ton of guards, but that's okay. Garrett passes through them and sees that the architect has locked himself in his office and doesn't let anyone in. So protagonist has to find another way. And there really is a hidden way inside, right behind the bookshelf. In the architect's office, Garrett sees, well, a hanged architect? That quite explains ignoring the guards. Garrett just needs plans of Baron's tower. And behind the painting there are levers which opens whole map of the city with Baron's tower in the middle. Now Garrett have to rearrange tower pieces in actual order, and when he does, the plan appears on one of the walls with a code. But as soon as he's about to take it, guards knock the door down, so now Garrett has to run. That is really Drive Chase to be honest, but quite fast. After, Garrett examines the plan more carefully and sees a way in, as well as figures out that the code here is to the Baron's huge safe. When Garrett enters tower courtyard, another explosion occurs. Now Garrett needs to get inside the tower through the ruins and fire-breathing pipes. Eventually, Garrett finds Basso in prison level and frees him, though for Garrett the job isn't done yet. The Baron's safe needs to be robbed. Here it is, as big as they say, with 6-digit combination. Garrett is about to open it, but suddenly his arm gets shot. It's General Thief Taker again, and it seems like he wants Garrett dead or alive now. He brings a lot of guards this time, though Garrett sneaks through them anyways and finally opens the safe. Inside the safe he finds the Primal Stone. It takes Garrett in a vision where Erin tells him how tough she felt and inviting Garrett to the Moira Asylum to see everything himself. In the end of the vision, Garrett sees Erin in white for a second. Then it stops and protagonist appears back in the safe, but it's on a solid ground this time. 6 nights later, Garrett decides to find Basso in a bar in Docks. And here he is, sitting and boozing like nothing happened. Garrett asks Basso if he has a boat to get to the Moira Asylum. Yeah, a little trip to the mental hospital 2 videos in a row. Anyways, Basso has a boat and he will take Garrett to the Asylum Island on it. On their trip, Basso has told Garrett that there have been a riot. Patients set themselves free, but no one returned to the city, not even guard boats which came here. On the territory of the asylum, it's oddly quiet. The main entrance is closed with huge wooden planks, but as soon as Garrett steps away to find another route, the door appears opened. Garrett comes inside, door behind him closes and the door in front is closed as well, but it has a hole to peek inside. Garrett takes a look and sees a room with drawings, and then the Screamer of Erin appears saying that Garrett shouldn't come here. After that, the door opens and protagonist can come in. Garrett concludes that Erin was here and he needs to examine the asylum. Garrett decides to start investigating from female ward, but it is closed for now and firstly he needs to find the key from it in male ward. Garrett deals with this part easily, but at the entrance in female ward he sees blood on the floor. Not a good sign. Okay, let me stop for a sec. This location is absolutely terrifying. I mean, I love horror games, but all these abandoned medical facilities always scare me as fuck. Like this wheelchair rolling by its own, this air something that hits me. That's terrifying. Thanks, back to the game. Garrett finds out that Erin has been held in room 3F. To enter this room, Garrett has to turn on generator, cause right now there is no power to maintain electric doors. Then to access room 3F, protagonist needs to open all the cells and in some of them there are patients who can be dangerous. When Garrett enters the room and takes the syringe from the chair, a vision kicks in. Turns out Erin has survived that accident a year ago and she has been held in here for this year. But to know all the truth about Erin's being here, Garrett needs to go on prison level, where Erin has been held after things we saw in the vision. So be it, let's go deeper. Here we meet new types of enemies, some humanoid figures that can sense Garrett if he's too close to them, no matter where they look. But they are afraid of light, what we have already seen. Garrett successfully passes the welcoming committee of these creatures, and in the next section he pulls the lever. After that, these creatures start busting from every door in this place, and they get Garrett after he pulls the second lever, dragging him in the vision. In there, Erin talks with Riddles again, but she says that it would be better to die than to be held here. Also, here it's told that these creatures were patients of the asylum, but they transformed into this one day. In the last room of vision, Garrett sees Erin, but she knocks him back, and he hears how Baron says Erin is too important to die, and someone drags her away. When Garrett wakes up, there is no monsters, no sewers, only the closed entrance door to the asylum. His only clue now is Baron. He knows what's going on in the city, and Garrett definitely has to visit him to ask some questions. So the next stop is Baron's manor. Meanwhile, there is mob starting over in the city. People riot against Baron. The front door of manor is dead shut, so Garrett has to take another route to get inside. In the backyard, he makes a great wall, and with its help he manages to get inside through the window. Baron has a pretty luxurious house, I might say, and even the big diamond in secret room, but it gets stolen. There's a hidden area on house plans, so it must be here. Garrett sneaks in this area, then he climbs up over the ledges of elevator. And here is Baron. Garrett asks him for answers. Baron gives them, so it's time to conclude the whole story till this very moment. A year ago, in that ritual, Baron tried to summon primal energy. Moreover, he succeeded, but Erin fell right on the primal stone and absorbed all the primal energy. Surprisingly, she survived, and Baron's guys took her in the asylum where they tried to remove the energy from her, but they failed miserably. A riot started in the asylum. Patients became horrific monsters, and someone took Erin away from there. It was Brother Aldous, or as we know him, Orion, and Garrett stole the ritual ring for him, the book and the primal stone. He is planning another ritual now. But as Baron says, Garrett's eye is the last piece for the ritual, cause in the accident Primal Stone broke and apparently one of its pieces got in protagonist's eye. That's why he has his abilities. So now Garrett needs to stop Orion from doing the ritual, otherwise Erin will die as well as the whole city. And the mob I told about earlier, that's Orion's work. He has done all of this and now his people are here and Garrett needs to pass through them. Orion's ritual will take place in Baron's laboratory. To get there, Garrett goes down in sewers again. Going along the way, Garrett finds a piece of primal stone inside some strange rotating device. From the notes here, he figures out that this device is used to resonate the stone, whatever it means, and that glass panels can be damaged if frequency changes too quickly. So Garrett only needs to put these rotating things near the crack in the glass, boost the frequency, and then drop it. Boom! Another crack. Repeat 3 times, and Primal Stone is yours to keep. Now it's time to leave, but General Thieftaker appears out of thin air and he is ready to kill Garrett, but protagonist knocks him and jumps in the stream to escape. It drops Garrett near the bridge and he needs to cross it, but it will be tricky cause it is in the process of collapsing. And honestly, that was awesome. Parkouring through the fallen bridge with fires and all, loved it part. Anyways, Garrett gets to the other side of the bridge and goes to his hideout to make up his mind and gather supplies for the last battle. Later that night, Garrett was looking at his damaged eye in a mirror when Queen of Beggars appears beside him. She tells Garrett that the spirit of Primal has filled Erin, not only its energy, but it fused her with the city. If Erin dies with Primal energy trapped in her, whole city will cease to exist. Queen says that Primal energy can be removed from Erin with all the parts of Primal Stone. One that Garrett obtained, one in his eye, and the other 2 with Orion. So now Garrett should visit him one more time. On the streets there are Orion's people in charge now and everything's burning after the mob. Orion himself is preparing for the ritual in the old cathedral among a whole bunch of guards. Garrett sneaks through them. Well, no, today we fight cause I failed the stealth miserably. Inside the cathedral there is some kind of mine and Garrett sees how elevator is going down. Again in the deeps. Garrett gets the elevator as well and it's pretty long way down to be honest. Suddenly the elevator breaks and Garrett has to go down by himself, but it's even better for him. Approaching the destination point, Garrett meets these creatures again. They even have killed one of the guards. Protagonist manages to pass through them unseen, but then it's guards again. A little too many guards, so Garrett has to feed a couple times, but after all he gets inside the place of new ritual. Orion is preparing, saying the speech, and in the middle of the speech, Garrett sees vision. In it, he collects other pieces of Primal Stone, and the vision ends when he takes the last piece from Orion's hands, and Eren pushes Garrett away. Orion is furious on Garrett. He tries to persuade him to give Primal Stone back, but Garrett knows Ball, so he will not return it. Garrett says that human body can't handle the primal energy. In response, Orion grabs Eren and she starts screaming, which making everyone stunned for a bit. In a moment of this short fuss, Orion takes Eren away. Garrett is about to chase him, but here comes his good old friend, Thief Taker General. And it is some kind of boss fight now. Garrett can kill General or just sneak out. I chose killing cause he doesn't deserve a second chance. General fuckhead. Chasing Orion, Garrett meets these creatures again, and after passing through them, he sees a big boat that Orion built. He should be somewhere on that boat, so Garrett sneaks in through the guards. And here he is, keeping Eren as hostage. Orion tries to make Garrett change his mind and join him, but our protagonist rejects cause he knows what will be if Orion makes his plan come true. While Orion is talking, Garrett starts to feel not great. That's Eren has decided to join their conversation. Eren's soul comes out from the body and murders Orion and starts doubting Garrett's motives. She says he wants her power as well, but Garrett replies he doesn't want the power itself. He wants the power to leave Eren's body, cause it's killing her. Eren refuses to believe him, though he is totally sincere. Eren disappears, so now Garrett needs to follow her in the other part of the ship, but it's not that hard since Eren has frozen all the guards. When Garrett tries to touch Eren, she disappears again and he needs to follow the trail further, but this time she has turned some guards into creatures. Eventually Garrett catches Eren up and tries to drain the energy from her with Primal Stone, but she reacts fast enough and Stone gets broken in 3 pieces. Now Garrett has to pick up all the pieces and try again, but Eren will get in his way by sending a damaging wave and explosive clones. When Garrett obtains all the pieces, Eren says she's tired of this and just sits down near the wall. She lets Garrett to free her of primal energy, and when he does, suddenly they both end up in the situation like the beginning. Garrett holds Eren, who is about to fall, but this time underneath is deep sea and not the floor. Eren asks him for the claw again, and Garrett tries to give it to her, but it's too late, and Eren falls down in the sea along with the claw. Garrett wakes up only in the morning. Near him he sees footprints and the claw stuck in the wall. Garrett takes the claw and stares in the horizon. Titles. I can't describe it, but Thief has something in it to tickle the brain. Like, if you start it, it gets stuck inside your head and for several days you be like, what's next in there, or what if I played the other way in that chapter, despite the fact there's only one ending in Thief. Sometimes I caught myself with these kind of thoughts midday, and for me, it's a great mistake that I haven't played Thief earlier. The only flaw is battle system, but the game is about stealth, so it's forgivable. After all, I find Thief still worth playing, especially if you like stealth. Believe me, the gameplay in Thief is absolute cinema. Only these sneaky arms when picking something up worth a lot, and it puts immersion in the game on a different level. Enjoyment definitely approved. Anyways, thank you for watching, that was Ori speaking for you, and I'm dropping the mic.